But how far will one detective go to catch a cop killer? Today, we're diving deep into the gritty streets of London with a recap of this underrated action thriller starring Jason Statham. In the opening scene, we are introduced to Detective Tom sleeping on his couch. As he wakes up, he goes to the window of his room and spots robbers trying to steal someone's car. Tom right away goes out and confronts them. He warns them to go away, but they do not listen, and a fight occurs. He beats the thieves up very badly and tells them that if he ever sees them again, he is going to kill them. Tom gets out of there, but the next day, the news spreads that Tom beat up some innocent boys very badly. Now, the media is targeting him and his whole department after this incident. The department is worried about Tom, so they send him to a counselor for some counseling, but Tom is rude to even the counselor, and he starts to smoke in front of him. When a man tries to stop him, he goes on to threaten the counselor and gets back to the police station. We then see Elizabeth. She is a constable who has come to see Tom. She tells him that she has been working undercover for a long time. She was on a mission against the drug dealers, so she had to take drugs while undercover in order to show the dealers that she is one of them. Elizabeth tells him she then started doing drugs, and when she got back, she was sent to rehab. When she got back from rehab, she took the test again but failed the sergeant test, and that is why she has now been demoted to a constable. Tom tries to console her, but she looks depressed. Tom then goes to see Bruce Roberts, who is a chief inspector, and he works alongside Tom. His wife has just died, and as they go to see her body, Bruce gets really upset, and Tom then takes him to a bar. As they drink, Tom tries to cheer up Bruce, and he is somewhat successful. In the next scene, we see a lady police officer walking on the road, and as she walks on, a man in a hood comes in front of her and shoots her. Tom gets to know this and reaches the scene of the crime. Everybody asks him about Bruce, but he tells them that he still mourns the death of his beloved wife, so he will not be working for a while. However, the murder of a police officer is not something they can ignore. They call a temporary inspector to fill in for Bruce. The man's name is Porter Nash, but the other officers do not like him, and they do not want to work under his command because the word on the street is that Porter is gay. However, it has been made abundantly clear to them by a superior officer that they will work under Porter, so they have no other choice. To Porter's surprise, he finds an unlikely ally in the hot-headed gruff Detective Sergeant Tom, who has a history of violent incidents. While the investigation is ongoing, Elizabeth is visited by a friend, a young gang member nicknamed Metal, who is afraid his gang might have actually killed someone. Promising him to look into the situation, she tells the boy that this is the last time she is doing him this favor and says that if the man is dead, he will have to leave the city, and if the man is alive, he will have to leave the gang. She then goes to see Tom, and after listening to the whole story, Tom asks her to see Craig. Elizabeth then contacts Detective Inspector Craig Stokes, who agrees to help if Elizabeth goes on a date with him. Later, we see a reporter receiving a call from a man named Barry, who tells him that he is the one who shot the police officer and goes on to add that his work is not just finished here. He is going to target more police officers in the upcoming days. As he talks, he goes to another police officer and shoots him as well. Barry then tells the reporter that he has 8 more police officers on his list and then hangs up. The news spreads like wildfire, and Porter comes to see Tom and asks him if he is really the man people describe him to be. As they talk, Tom gets to know that Porter knows a lot about him. This is when they get to know that another police officer has been shot dead, and they start to arrest all the criminals in the city. They contact all of their spies and instruct them to stay more active than ever. Tom goes to see one of his informants in the city, Radner, who points Tom and Porter towards a man named Barry Weiss, who recently bragged about setting a police dog on fire for practice. Although Tom and Porter visit Barry's flat, they cannot immediately find any evidence against him. When Barry opens the door, he finds the police officers in front of him. He gets a little confused at first, but being a very shrewd killer, he keeps himself calm. Tom recognizes Barry as the man he beat up in a fight in a billiard hall a year earlier. He goes on to make fun of Barry and gets out of there with Porter. Barry, on the other hand, right away takes some of his stuff and immediately goes out to hide it somewhere. However, Tom's informant follows him, and he gets to know the place where Barry hides his stuff. Radner decides to conduct an investigation of his own and eventually discovers the seemingly abandoned car, where Barry keeps the trophies of his kills, confirming that Weiss is the killer. Amidst all this, we see that Bruce goes to a store to get some liquor, and it hits him that he is destroying his life. He decides that he is going to get back to work. He reports to the police station and gets to work again. As he goes out, we see him being followed by Barry. It turns out that Barry's next target is Bruce. Bruce goes home, and Barry follows him. As he gets home, Barry knocks on his door, and as Bruce opens the door, Barry attacks him. Bruce himself is a police officer, so he does not back down from a fight. He gets his hands on a hammer, and when he is about to hit Barry with it, Barry snatches the weapon away from him and hits him countless times with the hammer. After killing him, he starts to watch TV in Bruce's house. He steals his uniform and gets out of his house. Barry calls the reporter again and tells him that he has the third police officer, Bruce. He then tells the reporter that he wants his name to be in the press tomorrow and goes on to tell the reporter to name him Blitz. Tom then gets to know that Bruce has been killed. He is shocked because Bruce was a dear friend. On the other hand, we see Barry putting all his stuff in the boot of a car. Tom's informant, however, has been following him all along, and he has been keeping an eye on all of his actions. He goes to the car and sees Barry's stuff. The informant then calls the same reporter and tells him that he is well aware of the murderer. He then tries to make a deal with the reporter. He demands $50,000 for the whereabouts of everything that proves who is the killer. The reporter agrees and asks him where he has to come. The informant gives him the address of the parking lot. The reporter right away goes there, and the informant shows him the stuff in the car. He does not believe everything, but he does believe that this is Bruce's uniform. However, the reporter agrees to give him the money. In the meantime, Barry has been watching everything. He sees that this drunkhead has brought a reporter there. As they leave, Barry gets all the stuff out of there. Elsewhere, Elizabeth goes to see Craig and asks him if the guy is dead, but he tells her that he is alive. He just got injured. He then goes on to tell her that the man has not even revealed a name yet. Elizabeth then asks Craig what she can do for him in return, and he says that he wants nothing from her except a drink tomorrow night. She agrees. On the other hand, the reporter takes the informant to a bar, and there, he gives him all the money. He then says that he needs to go to the bathroom. The reporter asks him to tell him the name of the killer, but he tells him that he is going to give him the name after he comes out of the bathroom. When he goes to the bathroom, we see that Barry is also in that bar, as he has been following them. Barry follows him to the bathroom, and as the old man sees the killer, he starts to shiver. He begs for his life, saying that he has not given up his name yet, so he does not deserve to be killed. But Barry does not know the word mercy, and he goes on to kill the informant and gets out of there with $50,000. Dunlop, the reporter, alerts the police of the car, but they find it empty. Tom and a fellow police constable come to realize that all of Blitz's victims so far have been police officers who have arrested Barry in the past, and that Elizabeth is most likely the next victim. Elizabeth, after coming home from her date with Stokes, is attacked by Barry but saved by Metal, who is killed in the ensuing struggle. Before Barry can attack Elizabeth again, the police arrive. Tom and Porter decide to release a picture of Barry to the media to flush him out, which eventually, after a lengthy chase, leads to Barry's capture. There is no concrete evidence against him, however, so after 48 hours and an interrogation that does not yield results, the police are forced to let Barry go. Exasperated, Tom and Porter devise a plot to trick Barry, knowing that he will want to take revenge on Tom for the billiard hall fight. Barry then infiltrates the funeral of Chief Inspector Bruce, dressed in Bruce's uniform. During the service, Tom leaves, followed by Barry. Tom leads Barry to the top of a parking garage, only to reveal that Tom and Porter had switched places along the route. Surprised by a hidden Tom, Barry is mercilessly beaten, overpowered, and relieved of his gun. Explaining that they will never find enough evidence to convict Barry legally, Tom concludes that they are now in a convenient situation. Since Barry is dressed as a police officer and Tom has Barry's gun, they can shoot him with his own gun, and it will look as if Barry was just another of Blitz's victims. With that idea in mind, Tom shoots Barry dead. Porter then goes on to get rid of all the evidence. After Barry is killed, Tom decides that he needs to teach a lesson to the reporter, so he sets the dogs free on Dunlop for writing articles against him and the police for coverage.